Well, top of the morning to you all. It's old Holy Smokin' Pie Padre back at you again. I want to say, first of all, thanks to all of you who have so been kind about wishing me my first year. There's a pipe presenter here on YouTube. This is the housekeeping, as Dear Jay would say. Here's the my little Dunhill calabash after watching Astro Man, showing off that beautiful calabash, briar calabash that he had. Beautiful, beautiful pipe. Go check that out. But in this calabash, I'm smoking a wonderful pipe tobacco given to me as a gift by Bruno. And I have to tell you, most of you who watch my corny videos know that I love my English blends, my Balkan blends. But this reminds me of my childhood. We're getting ready for a big rainstorm, and so all my chimes are just being blown here, there, and everywhere. So pardon the noise and the cacophony in the background. But the aroma out of this beautiful black Cavendish, Holland House black Cavendish, is just exquisite, and I love it. It really does take me back to, I remember when my brother would come home, and I would always open up his pipe tobacco pouches and take a deep draft and go, oh, that smells so wonderful. It smells wonderful. Oops, what did I do there? So, anyway, this is a delicious too. Thank you, Bruno, by the way. This video, first of all, I wanted to say again, thank you to all of you who have wished me well for my first year as a pipe presenter. I want to apologize. Some of you are faint of heart. Herman, you know I'm talking about you. I just want you to know that no actual pipes or tins of tobacco or whatever were hurt in any way in the making of that film. You know, we people in Hollywood, we have ways of making things look more deadly and dangerous than they really are. But I can assure you that all of my briars are very safe and sound and unscathed. So those of you who are kind of faint of heart and going, oh my gosh, well, yeah, just relax. You know, it's all Hollywood. That being said, again, I'm trying to keep this lit because I haven't smoked a pipe in over a week. And the reason why is I have had bronchitis. And I'll tell you what, that first pipe I had yesterday for my video, my 1-year anniversary video, was pretty darn good. But when I'm sick, I mean really sick, I just don't smoke. I think most people are of the same, in the same camp as I am. You just, you know, obviously, you let the pipe rest for a while, and you try to rest yourself. Wanted to kind of put a few shout outs to some folks. ADZ Pipes, ADZ Pipes, you also celebrate 1 year, the creation of the Zombie Master. Congratulations to you, sir. I hope you have a great new year. I believe it or not, I find your videos very entertaining. And your editing skills, your Photoshop skills, well, it's pretty awesome. Also, a little shout out to Tim Milverton, 68. Thank you for your nice comments, my friend. We both discovered that YouTube, oh man, it's kind of broke. Let me just tell you that. And he was saying that somehow he keeps getting unsubscribed from my channel, and I've tried to send emails from YouTube, and sometimes they don't launch, they don't send. I think I'm sending an email to somebody, either replying or saying thank you, or sometimes people even ask me questions. Not like Jay, by the way. Oh, so Jay, how big is it? Your IQ, that is. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Jay has a big IQ, let's face it. A lot of gray matter in that brain housing group of his. Where do you think all those crazy questions come from? Anyway, but sometimes I send videos, I send emails, and I think they're being sent and they're not. So if you wonder why I don't respond to you, now part of that has to do with the fact that right now, the last few weeks and this week coming up, Holy Week, it's going to be very, very busy. Once we're through and we're in the Easter season, things will calm down to a dull roar, and I fully intend to actually dive back into my channel and do some fun things like Matches 860's been doing. He's kind of venturing off into some kind of creative things, and there are things that I'd like to do in that line, in that vein. I also want to respond finally personally to many of your wonderful comments and say thank you. And so anyway, but Holy Week is upon us, and it's no secret what I do for a living. You know what? I think I packed this pipe a little too loosely at the bottom. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It's not drawing as well as I would like it to. Also, kind of wondering whatever happened to those crazy Dagners. They were making great videos there for a while, and really loved them. I just hope they're okay. I'm just hoping that they're not, sick or having problems. So if you guys are watching, all the best to you, and please come back. Love your videos. And OMS, you know who you are, Rat Brother. Did you ever get your dragon pipe, Zodiac dragon pipe? I just want to know if you got the dragon pipe. Okay. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about, in the minutes I have remaining here, Holy Week. Don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's the premier season for Christians. I've had a few people send me Holy Week condolences, best wishes for a good Holy Week, and those of you who celebrate Holy Week, blessings to you. But it's safe to say, and I'm going to venture off into territory I normally don't venture off into, especially on this channel, because, and sometimes every now and then people ask me some religious type questions in PMs and things like that, and that's perfectly okay, and if I get a chance to respond to you, I certainly will. But when it comes down to it, Christianity certainly has its fair share of black eyes. Okay, it doesn't always read well in history books. Whether you want to talk about Inquisition or how the church is guilty of genocide, or at least trying to wash out other people's cultures and suppress it, and replace it with Christendom. The Crusades, another wonderful bright spot. But what's so fascinating to me, and it's been kind of something that's been percolating in my soul for the last couple of years, is that we as Christians, say we follow this one man named Jesus. And there are many, many different stripes, if you will, flavors, in some cases theologies, about being a Christian. What does it mean to be a true Christian, And there are some of you out there who are unabashedly out there in your faith, and you share your love of pipes and adult beverages. And even give some wonderful theological reflections on the issues there at hand, which is good, which is really good. And if you haven't seen some of those by Pipe Pastor, again, I recommend you go see them. So Holy Week, and especially during the season of Lent, we're encouraged to meditate upon the way of Christ, the way of the cross, if you will. We make the Stations of the Cross, as a devotional, a very specialized devotional during Lent, and especially during Holy Week. And of course we have Good Friday, which is the culmination of everything, the Passion. And I think the impressions that I get about what it really means to be a believer, a follower of Christ, a disciple, if you will, really, if you look at the life of Jesus, and again, I'm not trying to preach here, I'm just trying to give a reflection, if you don't mind, that I think might have a little bit more wider appeal than just a Sunday sermon or a homily. But I think where we get into trouble, Christianity, its biggest problem are Christians. Because for whatever reason we get overzealous, or we get locked into a certain way of looking at things, and then all of a sudden our brand of Christianity is the only one that's either legitimate or authoritative or what have you. In other words, if you're not doing it the way we're doing it in our church or our faith background, then you're all wrong and we're right. And a lot of that has to do with rule keeping, And it just has hit me in especially the last 2 years, that, and again, I was a former evangelical, and I mean, I'm still evangelical, because I'm a Christian. All Christians are evangelical. But as far as being a denomination or a non-denominational title, I'm just a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm a Catholic. Okay. But when I look at the life of Jesus, I don't see him being as overly concerned about humanity and its weaknesses. What I do find is that we tend to be more critical and harder on ourselves and others than Jesus ever was to the poor sinners that he truly loved and came to minister to. We tend to love, in some ways, to have excuses to really ostracize and repudiate people that don't believe the way we do. And I'm guilty of that too. Don't hear me think, well, I've got the great answer, and I'm all pure, clean, and I've got the, I know. No, I'm just telling you that I've seen my own weaknesses in pointing the finger of scorn at others. And when I stop and I really look at the life of Jesus, he never did that. The only people he had harsh words for were the self-righteous. And so when I look at the mysteries of Holy Week, yes, I look at the Passion. Yes, he came to die for our sins, amen, because we were, we're helpless. It was just like, without certain drugs, you're going to die, okay? And you get these drugs, whether antibiotics or whatever the drugs are. See, bronchitis. That was a good one. But you begin to recognize that, yeah, we definitely needed to have him come to take away sin and death, because we just were helpless to do that. There's no way we could ever do that. and trying to keep the rules, and that never worked. And in fact, the rules, I think, were given, the law and the prophets were given for two reasons. One is correction, and one for, kind of putting down some guidelines. I'm not saying the Ten Commandments are guidelines or suggestions. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that even in their most pristine form, there's a double edge to it. One, you got to try and keep them, but then you're also painfully aware that you can't keep them. And that's why you need, mercy, and you need forgiveness. And so when I look at, Holy Week, and I look at what does it mean to be a follower of Jesus, I think that, I talk to so many people, and they're always, oh, I messed up here, I ate meat on Friday, and, and I'm not saying that the traditions of the church are insignificant and should be, cavalier in a cavalier manner, just, thrown out and who cares? No. But again, I think the problem is, and this is something again I've been coming to a realization over the last couple of years, is we've got to get beyond the rule keeping and the scorekeeping between each other. Like, well, you smoke, I don't. I don't drink, but you used to drink. You're one of those kind of people. I'm just a human being, and I don't think the Lord has a big problem with being human and being a weak human being, and being even a sinful human being. Again, he loved the sinners. And I'm not saying you go out there and just party. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is we need to relax, because if we recognize that God is merciful towards us, maybe, just maybe, we might be merciful to others. And wouldn't that be something, huh? Instead of being judgmental and self-righteous, we're basically, instead of, getting ready to throw a stone, we're reaching out with a handshake saying, hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, sister, how you doing? And that doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. That doesn't mean you have to, co-sign somebody's agenda. There are people that I don't agree with, but I don't hate them. I don't paint them as targets, target up, lays that target, and separating people into different camps. I think that's the real danger there, and the problem over all these years is we have different ways of interpreting this one man's life and what he came to do. And the problem is that sometimes we tend to get a little too strict, and maybe we need to be a little bit more understanding. And so in Holy Week, that's what I'm focusing on. I was visiting somebody in the store yesterday, and they were all kind of upset with, I didn't keep all the Lenten regulations and my Lenten disciplines. And I just said, I don't think in the end the good Lord is going to really be that upset. I think he understands humanity really, really well, because he was one. That was the beautiful thing about the incarnation. It's like, when you have a pen pal, or maybe a YouTube friend, a couple of wonderful YouTube friends I have out there. But in some ways, I don't really know them yet because I haven't met them in real time. It hasn't happened yet. And in some ways, I hope that's not my video messing up there. I'll have to end this here pretty soon. But so it's only when you meet somebody in real time you say, now I know that person. And that's what Jesus came to do, is to basically become one of us and to live a real life. And that's why he is so patient with erring sinners like me. Well, I hope you got something out of that, and have a blessed Holy Week, and I hope you're all well. Light up your world, light up your pipe. See what happens with this video. It's all acting weird now. Bye.